I break out of prisons for a living. For the past 8 years, I've been breaking out of facilities for the Federal Bureau of Prisons. I think Hobbs used my reports to make this place unbreakable. Someone wanted this place tested, but it was a setup. They wanted to bury me. I don't know who, but I'm gonna find out.
We are in a high-security federal prison in Colorado. Ray Breslin, an inmate with a sharp mind and a mysterious past, is approached by another prisoner who warns him about trouble brewing. Apparently, a thug has his sights set on Ray and plans to start a fight. Sure enough, the next day, Thug makes his move, lunging at Ray. But Ray isn't just any inmate. He's quick, calculated, and more than capable of holding his own. Fight ends with Ray standing tall, but the victory comes at a cost. The chaos draws the attention of the guards, who promptly throw him into the prison's isolation wing. This isn't your average lockdown. The isolation area is a grim, claustrophobic space reserved for the most dangerous inmates. Ray is shoved into a tiny, windowless cell with nothing but a toilet and a Bible for company. Every move he makes is monitored by a relentless security camera. But if there's one thing Ray knows how to do, it's think on his feet. He's already studied the prison's layout and knows the high security area is right next to the fire garage. To make matters even more interesting, he notices the prison is understaffed, guard shifts are thin, and opportunities are ripe. Ray's plan to escape is already taking shape. Over the next few days, Ray becomes a silent observer, studying the guards like a hawk. He notices their routines, their habits, and even their smoke breaks, always exactly 7 minutes long. These small details become the building blocks of his escape plan. But there's one major hurdle: the passcode to his high-security cell door. Ray's no stranger to thinking outside the box, and he finds his solution in an unlikely place: his daily chocolate milk. He carefully peels a thin layer of plastic from the packaging and, with the precision of a master thief, lays it over the touchpad. When a guard enters the code, the plastic captures the fingerprints, revealing the sequence of numbers. It doesn't take long for Ray to crack the code. Meanwhile, Ray's team outside the prison receives a cryptic message hidden in one of his letters. The message is clear: create a distraction at exactly on the day of the escape. When the time comes, Ray puts his plan into motion. As the guards step out for their 7-minute smoke break, he enters the passcode and slips out of his cell. Through a vent, he makes his way into the unguarded fire garage. Right on cue, a lady sets off a car explosion outside the prison, drawing everyone's attention. In the chaos, the fire brigade rushes out, and Ray seizes the moment. He clings to the underside of the fire truck, disappearing into the night as the prison fades behind him. After a heart-pounding escape, Ray reunites with his teammates, Abigail and Hush, but the adventure isn't over yet. They drop him off near a telephone booth where the police soon catch up and arrest him.
Step out of the booth with your hands in the air!
Showtime.
Put your hands in the air now! Hands in the air!
Just as it seems like Ray's headed back to prison, a man named Lester Clark shows up, flashing some serious credentials. After a quick chat with the guards, Lester secures Ray's release. The next scene takes us to a meeting between Ray, Lester, and the head of the prison, and here's where the first big twist hits. Ray isn't a criminal at all. He's actually the co-founder of Breslin Clark, a security firm that specializes in testing prison security. Ray's job: he poses as an inmate, infiltrates prisons, and exposes their weaknesses. Over the years, he's earned a reputation as the guy who can break out of any prison, so much so that he even wrote a book about it, which has become a go-to guide for prison security. The prison guard is stunned but grateful for Ray's feedback on how to tighten up their system. Back at his office, Ray settles into his real life as a security expert, but things are about to get even more intense. Lester has arranged a meeting with Jessica Miller, a CIA operative, with a high-stakes offer. She wants Ray to test a top-secret prison designed to hold disappeared individuals. The catch? Ray and his team won't know the prison's location. The payday is massive, millions of dollars, but Ray's not sold. It's only when Lester urges him to take the job that Ray reluctantly agrees. To pull it off, they give him a new identity: Anthony Portos, a notorious terrorist for hire. On the day of the mission, the team implants a tracker in Ray's arm, following standard protocol. But things take a dark turn almost immediately. Ray is ambushed, drugged, and kidnapped by his captors. In a brutal and painful scene, they remove the tracker from his arm, leaving him unconscious and completely off the grid. When Ray finally wakes up, he's in a nightmare he didn't sign up for. He finds himself in a glass cell, perched on a platform, surrounded by other prisoners in identical cells. Every move is monitored by relentless, roving cameras. It's a high-tech prison designed to strip away any sense of control. Ray is soon brought face-to-face with the prison warden, a man named Hobbs. This immediately raises red flags for Ray. He was told the warden would be someone else. Sensing something's terribly wrong, Ray tries to use his emergency escape code, a fail-safe meant to get him out of any situation.
Wait! My evacuation code is 310275.
But Hobbs doesn't flinch. He dismisses Ray's plea and coldly declares him a permanent inmate. Meanwhile, outside the prison, Abigail and Hush scramble to locate Ray, but without the tracker, they're flying blind. Back inside the prison, chaos reigns. The inmates are ordered to evacuate to an area called Babylon. The guards, all wearing identical masks, move like robots, dishing out brutal punishment to anyone who steps out of line. It's clear this isn't your average prison. It's a place where rules don't apply and power is abused without consequence. Ray's confusion deepens when he's approached by another inmate, Emil Rottmeyer. Rottmeyer warns Ray to stay alive and reveals that he's not a criminal either. He claims he was thrown into this hellhole because powerful people want information about his boss, a shadowy figure named Mannheim. This revelation sparks a chilling realization in Ray. This prison isn't for federal criminals. It's a private torture chamber where the wealthy send their enemies to disappear. Determined to uncover the truth, Ray decides to investigate the prison's isolation area. To get there, he and Rottmeyer stage a fight, knowing it'll land them in trouble.
See what you can do. You hit like a vegetarian.
Sure enough, the warden watches the brawl unfold on camera, almost gleeful at the violence. For Ray, this is just the beginning of his plan to expose the prison's dark secrets. Ray and Rottmeyer's fight lands them exactly where they wanted to be, the isolation chamber. But this isn't your typical punishment cell. It's a torture chamber disguised as a room. The space is cramped, sweltering, and lit by blinding halogen lights that crank up the heat to unbearable levels. It's designed to disorient, dehydrate, and break anyone trapped inside. The warden watches their suffering through the cameras, seemingly enjoying the show. After a grueling day in the chamber, a prison doctor visits Ray. He appears sympathetic, offering a glimmer of humanity in this otherwise cruel place. But when Ray tries to pry information about their location, the doctor clams up, leaving Ray with more questions than answers. Eventually, Ray and Rottmeyer are released from the chamber, but the experience has given Ray a crucial insight. He notices the chamber's floor is made of steel rivets, not aluminum. Steel rusts and expands under heat, a weakness Ray plans to exploit. Ray shares his discovery with Rottmeyer and asks him to get a metal plate, which could be used to pry open the rivets. Rottmeyer agrees, but demands to know Ray's plan in return. Ray reveals his theory. The prison isn't just high security, it's underground. If they can remove the bolts and work their way upward, they might just reach the surface. Rottmeyer, now convinced Ray is their best shot at freedom, agrees to help. To get back into the isolation chamber and put their plan into action, Ray and Rottmeyer stage another fight.
Step back.
I know you.
What?
Your mother. She was my favorite whore in Marrakesh. And she could polish a helmet.
The warden, eager to see more chaos, sends them straight back to the torture room. But this time, they're not just prisoners. They're escape artists with a plan. And if you're on the edge of your seat, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more thrilling movie breakdowns. back to the story. Inside the isolation chamber, Ray gets to work. Using the intense heat from the halogen lights, he begins loosening the steel rivets, carefully staying out of the camera's view. Once the rivet is loose enough, he bangs on the chamber to signal Rottmeyer. Playing his part perfectly, Rottmeyer starts screaming and causing a scene, drawing all the guards' attention. Meanwhile, Ray blocks the camera with a paper ball he's been hiding in his mouth. With the coast clear, he slips into the vent and makes his way outside. But what Ray discovers next leaves him stunned. The prison isn't on land. It's on a massive cargo ship floating in the middle of the ocean. The realization hits him like a wave. Escaping just got a whole lot harder. As he navigates back to the chamber, he accidentally breaks a pipe, causing water to flood the isolation area. The chaos works in his favor, though. The flooding distracts the guards, giving Ray the perfect cover to return to his cell unnoticed. Meanwhile, back on land, Ray's friends Abigail and Hush are growing increasingly suspicious. They confront Lester about Ray's disappearance, pointing out that the payment check for his mission has bounced. To make matters worse, Jessica Miller, the woman who hired Ray, has gone off the grid. Lester brushes off their concerns, insisting Ray is just doing his job. But once Abigail and Hush leave, Lester's true colors show. He calls the prison warden Hobbs and reveals his sinister plan. He wants Ray to rot in the prison forever so he can take full control of their company. The entire mission was a setup, orchestrated by Lester to trap Ray. But Abigail and Hush aren't giving up. They dig deeper and uncover the existence of an illegal, privately owned prison known as the Tomb. It's a place where the wealthy send their enemies to disappear, and it's exactly where Ray is being held. The problem? No one knows where the Tomb is located. Back in the floating prison, Ray and Rottmeyer turn their attention to the guards. Figuring out their routine is no easy task. Every guard wears the same mask, making it hard to tell them apart. But after days of careful observation, they manage to piece together some key details about the guards' schedule. Still, one critical piece of the puzzle is missing: their location. Without knowing where they are in the world, any escape plan is doomed. Ray tries to enlist the prison doctor's help, but the man refuses, unwilling to risk his position. Undeterred, Ray improvises. He sneaks out a piece of cardboard, planning to use it as a makeshift device to determine the ship's latitude. The catch: they'll need to be on the ship's deck to make it work. Enter Javed Afridi, a Muslim inmate who agrees to help. Afridi offers to become the warden's spy, gaining his trust by pretending to cooperate. In exchange, he requests permission to pray in the open air, a request the warden grants, unaware of Afridi's true intention. Once on the deck, Afridi uses the cardboard device to calculate the ship's latitude. With this information, Ray deduces they're somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, near Morocco. It's not a precise location, but it's a start. Rottmeyer reveals he has a contact in Morocco, a friend who owes him a favor. If they can get a message to him, Rottmeyer's friend might be able to orchestrate a rescue. Ray makes one last attempt to sway the prison doctor, this time successfully persuading him to help. The night before their escape, the prison doctor sends an email to Rottmeyer's contact revealing their location. The stage is set and the plan is ready to roll. The next day, Afridi feeds the warden false information about a riot brewing in the C block. Falling for the bait, the warden sends most of his guards to handle the supposed chaos, leaving the Babylon area lightly guarded. Seizing the moment, Ray sparks an actual riot in Babylon, creating the perfect distraction. In the chaos, Ray, Rottmeyer, and Afridi make a break for the ship's deck. But the warden isn't fooled for long. He notices their escape attempt and triggers a lockdown, sealing the doors before the trio can reach the top. Just as things seem hopeless, Rottmeyer's men arrive in helicopter, ready to extract them. Inside the ship, a fierce shootout erupts between the guards and Rottmeyer's rescuers. Tragically, Afridi is shot during the chaos and can no longer move. Ray devises a new plan. He tells Rottmeyer to stay with Afridi while he heads to the engine room to cut the power, which will reopen the locked doors. As Ray leaves, Afridi urges Rottmeyer to go without him, knowing his injuries are fatal. Reluctantly, Rottmeyer agrees, leaving his friend behind. Moments later, the guards find Afridi and kill him. Meanwhile, Ray successfully shuts down the power, allowing Rottmeyer to reach the deck and board the waiting helicopter. The guards open fire, but Rottmeyer and his men fight back, holding their ground as they wait for Ray. Ray, however, entered in a water tank inside the ship. With guards closing in, he makes a daring move. He flushes himself into the sea. Rottmeyer spots Ray struggling in the water and throws down the helicopter's ladder. Ray grabs hold and, in a final act of defiance, fires at the ship's oil tanks.
Boom.
The prison is destroyed, and Ray and Rottmeyer are finally free. The helicopter carrying Ray and Rottmeyer touches down on the Moroccan coast. As they step onto the sand, a car pulls up, and out steps Jessica, the woman who originally hired Ray for the prison job. Ray is stunned, but his confusion deepens when Rottmeyer casually reveals that Jessica is his daughter. The final twist: Rottmeyer isn't just another inmate, he's Mannheim himself, the elusive figure everyone believed was Rottmeyer's boss. He had hidden his true identity to protect himself from his enemies. Jessica explains that she knew her father was trapped in the prison and orchestrated Ray's imprisonment as part of a plan to rescue him. But there's more. She reveals that Ray's business partner, Lester, had conspired with the warden to keep Ray locked away forever, betraying him for his own gain. The pieces of the puzzle finally fall into place. Later, Ray reunites with Abigail, who fills him in on Lester's treachery. Lester had struck a deal to become the CEO of the private prison if the prototype proved inescapable. But with Ray's escape, Lester's plans crumble. Realizing the jig is up, Lester tries to flee. Hush and Abigail track him down. Ray's revenge plan is set into motion. In the final scene, Lester is ambushed by Hush and knocked out cold. When he wakes up, he's still in his car, but something's off. The car isn't on solid ground anymore. It's inside a massive cargo ship, sailing to an unknown destination. Well, that's the end of this recap. If you enjoyed this movie, consider subscribing for more interesting stories. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.